Hello, my name is Michael Burrows, and I'm director of the Kegley Institute of Ethics at California State University, Bakersfield. On behalf of the Kegley Institute and our team, welcome to the 10th Annual Wendy Wayne Ethics Awards. Thank you for being with us on this very special evening. And although we can't be together in the same room, we are excited to meet in this virtual space. Wendy Wayne was a dedicated volunteer and ethical leader in the Bakersfield community and beyond. She served as a Peace Corps volunteer, a dedicated nurse at Kern Medical Center, an advocate for child education and health at Kern County's First Five organization and the Kern County Superintendent of Schools office, and a support and trainer for women interested in becoming medical professionals. Wendy chose to serve others, and to this day has had a tremendous impact on our community. The Wendy Wayne Ethics Awards were dedicated in her honor upon her death in 2012. These awards sustain her legacy and commitment to service and ethics by recognizing individuals whose actions embody these values. Each year, awardee nominations are accepted by the Kegley Institute, recognizing ethical leadership and commitment to ethical action. At this time, I will turn over the podium to CSUB President Dr. Lynette Zalesny for opening comments and recognition of Wendy's enduring legacy.
Good evening and welcome to the 2021 Wendy Wayne Ethics Awards. We gather tonight in honor of a CSUB alumna who was the conscience of our community, an example of what it is to lead a life of meaning. In another time, we would be together face to face, eye to eye, as Wendy would have wanted. This was a woman, after all, who made a specific request to the community when she became ill. Instead of flowers and care packages, she asked us to hug the people we love and perform acts of kindness. There'll be no hugs tonight except virtually, but Wendy's wish that we perform acts of kindness will be celebrated as we recognize the extraordinary service of the 2021 Wendy Wayne honorees. These extraordinary community servants model the values of ethical leadership, integrity, responsibility, selflessness, humanity, and yes, kindness. At Cal State Bakersfield, we know that the pursuit of an ethical life is just that, a pursuit, not a destination. Every choice presents an ethical question. Every goal is a reflection of the ethics that drive us. Every action is an opportunity to demonstrate to others and ourselves that we are humans of purpose and that we honor our ethics. In good times, it is easy to live by our ethical code. In hard times, it can be difficult. Today, we are pushed to our limits in a world forever changed by a pandemic that has caused pain and isolation. In the past year, we also have been reminded with great pain and sorrow that justice and equality are still denied to many in our community because of the color of their skin. Sometimes it is tempting to give in to despair, but that is where our fortitude and inner drive to rise to our highest ideals provides the fuel we need to go on, to continue our own journey to the light. And that journey is even more meaningful when we take others with us. In this year of struggle, the remarkable leaders we honor tonight step forward to advocate on behalf of people of color, the LGBTQ and trans communities, immigrants, foster youth, and so many others. Congratulations to Dee Slade, Samantha De La Cruz, Nicholas Lopez, Randy Martin, Reina Olaquez, Hernan Santiago, and Alejandra Ali Lopez Beltran. You all honor the memory of Wendy Wayne, and we thank you for your commitment to helping others. In 2011, Wendy spoke at CSUB's commencement ceremony. She recalled the beginning of a lifelong journey of service to others. Wendy traveled to East Africa at age 20, where she lived in a mud hut with no running water or electricity. Later, she would come to Bakersfield and study at CSUB. She worked as a nurse practitioner, public health nurse, childbirth educator, community college teacher, Kern County Planning Commissioner, and the chief administrator at 2 local nonprofit organizations dedicated to the health and well-being of children. She advised our graduates to rush out into the world and make their mark on it. She told our graduates, when I was 20, I decided to leave my comfortable home in LA and my 5 siblings and travel halfway across the world to Africa to be a Peace Corps volunteer. Now, mind you, I'd never even been camping. When Wendy went on to advise graduates to take the time to really listen, take risks, find their passion, and commit to doing a random act of kindness at least once a week, because the kindness you give is a kindness to you. Wendy ended her remarks with this: "You know, I feel that I've had a very magical life. I would tell you that I am the luckiest person in the world." We continue to draw inspiration and motivation from this remarkable servant of our community. Tonight's honorees are proof of that. Congratulations again to our honorees, and thank you, runners and friends, for helping us celebrate their work and dedication to a life of purpose.
Thank you, Dr. Zalesny, for your support of this event and our awardees. Tonight's event and the Wendy Wayne Ethics Awards more generally are made possible due to the presenting sponsors of Kaiser Permanente and Adventist Health. We are grateful for their support of this event and their partnership to support several other areas of Kegley Institute of Ethics programming. I'm now pleased to introduce comments from Mr. David Womack, Senior Vice President of Kaiser Permanente in Kern County, and Mr. Daniel Wolcott, President of Adventist Health Bakersfield.
Good evening. I'm David Womack, Senior Vice President for Kaiser Permanente, Kern County. I am also a board member and an immediate past chairman for the Kegley Institute of Ethics. Kaiser Permanente and Adventist Health Bakersfield have a shared vision, which is improving the health of our community. And we do that with compassion and the highest standard of ethics. We are honored to have partnered with the Kegley Institute of Ethics since 2010 and are delighted to have been the presenting sponsor of the Wendy Wayne Awards since their inception. The past year has been full of challenges for everyone due to the pandemic, civil unrest, and political turmoil, and many of us have experienced great personal loss. Yet tonight is a night of hope. You will hear inspiring stories of people who have not run away from the challenges. Rather, these people have run toward the problems, and they have made an incredible difference. They have modeled the way for the rest of us, much like Wendy Wayne would have done herself. We are proud to acknowledge their amazing contributions and express our gratitude for their service to our community.
Hi, I'm Daniel Wolcott, the president of Adventist Health Bakersfield. I'm new to Kern County, and I'm enjoying the amazing people who live and work here. Recently, I learned about Wendy Wayne and her heart for caring for the people of this community. I'm standing in the Adventist Health AIS Cancer Center, which is home to the Wendy Wayne Resource Library. As you see behind me, this library was dedicated to Wendy because of her passion and love for Bakersfield. During the time that Wendy battled cancer, she had to travel out of town for her treatments and knew the importance of access to quality care here at home. Adventist Health was blessed to have Wendy Wayne on our team. As a project consultant for our AIS Cancer Center, Wendy personally helped us choose items that would be the best for our patients. Now, although Wendy is physically gone, her knowledge and legacy are still alive inside the AIS Cancer Center. We are so proud to continue to provide world-class care to cancer patients here in Kern County. While I didn't get to meet Wendy, I know her memory lives on in the sacred work that is delivered in our cancer center each day. Because of the Wendy Wayne Awards, and because her legacy impacts so many of the amazing people that call Bakersfield home.
Thank you, David and Daniel, for your continuing support. The The Kegley Institute of Ethics is committed to serving both our campus and our greater community through ethics education, outreach, and research. None of our work would be possible without the generosity of our supporters, and I'd like to take a few minutes to thank them now. In addition to our presenting sponsors, who we've heard from this evening, we are also grateful for the Wayne Tackett family for their continuing support of this award ceremony. And we have several sponsors who have stepped up to support tonight's event. Our event's silver sponsor tonight is Era Energy, and our additional sponsors include CSUB President Lynette Zelesny, CSUB Foundation, South Kern Soul News, Covenant Coffee, Comprehensive Blood and Cancer Center, Varner Brothers Incorporated, Barbich Hooper King Dill Hoffman Accountancy Corporation, First Five Kern, and the Office of the Kern County Superintendent of Schools. Finally, a big thanks goes to the staff who have worked incredibly hard to make this event possible tonight. This includes Rashima Dean, Ali Furgon, Mary Coder, and the CSUB Office of Events team, Ezra Hashem, Juan Rodriguez, Hannah Banks, and the CSUB Marketing and Communications team, Victor Martin, Lourdes Nylon, and the CSUB Development team, and Pierre Igoa and the CSUB IT team. Now, to begin our awards presentation tonight, we will start with our 2021 Wendy Wayne Ethics Award Honorable Mention awardees. But before I get to our awardees, just a note on the selection process for these awards. Award nominations are open to all persons in the Bakersfield metro region and are accepted year-round via the Kegley Institute of Ethics website. Nominations can be for an adult or youth and focus on the ethical achievements of the nominee in service of his or her community, or in demonstrating elements of ethical character, such as courage, commitment, moral imagination, and so on. A selection committee reviews all nominations, a task that is both inspiring but also difficult, given the high quality of our nominees. The selection committee includes Ms. Cheryl Barbich, Dr. Thomas Wallace, Mr. Lyle Martin, Ms. Leslie Golick, Judge Robert Tafoya, and Ms. Jennifer Constantine. Thank you to our committee for their service and dedication to these awards. As you will see tonight, all of our awardees are people with deep ethical commitments who serve as important leaders in our community. To begin with our honorable mention awardees, we will feature their stories and accomplishments in this video, including Randy Martin, founder of Covenant Coffee, Reina Olaguez, Executive Director of South Kern Soul News, and Alejandra Ali Lopez Beltran, a CSUB student leader for student government and diversity and inclusion initiatives.
Randy Martin is a 2021 Wendy Wayne Ethics Award Honorable Mention recipient nominated by Dr. Sumita Sarma. Randy is an ethically motivated social entrepreneur who founded Covenant Coffee in 2008, a coffee roaster and wholesale distributor to restaurants and cafes in Bakersfield. Covenant is a nonprofit organization dedicated to serving and educating former and current foster youth through mentorship, community, social services, and on-the-job training. Randy and his organization are motivated by 3 action-based value statements: give hope always, provide the opportunity for growth, and support with love and accountability. In 2011, Covenant Coffee opened a North Chester coffee house and roasting facility, providing additional on-the-job training and mentorship to foster youth as they learn work skills and invaluable life lessons. 100% of purchases from Covenant Coffee go toward creating job training, mentoring, and job placement for former foster youth. And Covenant sources all of their coffee beans ethically from fair trade farms and specialty green coffee. With his work, Randy and Covenant aim to break cycles of abuse and neglect, and they achieve this by providing foster youth with life skills training, transitional housing, and employment services. Covenant also now has a mobile coffee and food truck, with all profits going towards supporting Kern County foster youth. As Randy notes, we want to let every youth know that tomorrow can be better and your past doesn't dictate your future. Just keep your head up, keep working hard, and just keep hope in your life. We thank Randy and his team for their service and ethical leadership in our community. Reina Olaguez is a 2021 Wendy Wayne Ethics Award Honorable Mention recipient, nominated by Dr. Oliver Rosales and Dr. Andrew Bond. Raina is committed to taking action to promote youth journalism, narrative change, and investigative reporting from at-risk, marginalized, and underserved communities. Raina is a CSUB alum and an important local leader in our community. She serves as executive director of South Kern Soul, a youth-led media outlet located in Kern County. South Kern Soul was launched in 2011 and has continued to shine a light on stories that are particularly impactful for underserved communities across Kern County. By mentoring youth reporters from our community, South Kern Soul helps to create a new generation of youth leaders engaged with issues closest to them and their communities. South Kern Soul youth reporters cover pressing stories such as access to safe drinking water at schools, equitable funding for low-income schools, healthcare access, and the importance of having maintained parks in communities of color. In her role as executive director, Raina has worked tirelessly training and developing the capacity of youth journalists to develop the skill sets and competency to write their own stories and cultivate their voices. She has done this in a variety of ways, including through hosting youth journalism fellowships, a youth media summit, and through highlighting the stories of undocumented students in Kern County. We thank Raina and her South Kern Soul team for their service and ethical leadership in our community. Alejandra Ali Lopez Beltran is a 2021 Wendy Wayne Ethics Award Honorable Mention recipient, nominated by Mike Kwan. In his nomination of Ali, Mike writes, "Throughout my undergraduate and graduate years at CSU Bakersfield, I witnessed many students and campus members exhibit acts that champion the mission and vision of the CSUB campus and community. However, among those people, Ali has always stood out to me as a fantastic and persistent advocate that exemplifies inclusivity and diversity on our campus. Ali is now a master's in public administration student at CSUB, and during her CSUB career, has had a tremendous impact on student leadership and diversity initiatives. As president of Sensational Sophomores, a student leadership and success group at CSUB, Ali helped start an International Women's Day celebration that was not just celebratory, but instructive. Women on campus whom students identified as having changed their experience in school were invited to speak about their work and leadership experiences. As vice president of Associated Students International at CSUB, Ali ensured that as many students as possible would be engaged in the student government process. She created outreach events to inform students about ASI elections, and also created election kits for candidates with posters, handouts, and other marketing materials, so that lack of money wouldn't be a barrier to effective campaigning. As a result of her efforts, students voting and participating in ASI elections substantially increased. Ali's approach to chairing Hispanic Heritage Month events on campus also exemplifies her commitment to diversity and inclusivity. After consulting with a variety of campus constituent groups, she proposed changing the month's name to include other Latino-based identities. Some nationalities, such as Brazilian and Guyanese, don't fall under the term Hispanic, she noted, and she emphasized the need to include these groups through the adoption of a Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. In all, Ali has positively impacted the campus programming department and the CSUB community as a whole. She's a hardworking and humble student leader who works tirelessly to support our students. We thank Ali for her service and ethical leadership on our campus and in our greater community.
Thank you again to all of our honorable mention awardees. I also want to acknowledge Hernan Santiago, who was not able to be featured in our honorable mention awardee video. Hernan was nominated for a Wendy Wayne Ethics Award for his service to our community as a high school basketball coach, both at Arvin and Centennial High Schools. As his nominator and one of his former student athletes, Jennifer Martinez, writes, Hernan helped us see outside of our reality and trust in our collective potential, and his commitment to us brought change to our communities as a whole. We thank Hernan for his service to our community and our youth, as well as all of our honorable mention awardees. Let me now introduce our 2021 Wendy Wayne Ethics awardees. First, we recognize Samantha De La Cruz, a CSUB alum and former president of CSUB's Club GEN, which stands for Gender Equality Now. During her time at CSUB, Samantha was an activist, organizer, and researcher in support of women and girls living in poverty and trans-identified youth. Samantha led efforts to establish a Trans Awareness Week at CSUB, opened Jai's Library, a resource for gender non-conforming students, named in honor of Jai Bornstein, a former Club Gen member, and formed a campus-wide committee focused on creating institutional policies and practices that support gender nonconforming students. Join me in taking a look at this video to hear directly from Samantha on her motivations for ethical leadership and activism.
What it means for me to be an ethical leader, it involves taking a stance of some sort. So if it's, saying, no, I recognize that trans people deserve to be treated in all their humanity, and I need to help actualize their liberation. I think leadership is recognizing that there's no individual just thing that can be isolated. Things don't happen in a vacuum. So we have to take into account the collective, the community, all the people that are going to be affected by these things.
I nominated Samantha De La Cruz because Samantha has demonstrated incredible ethical leadership, both on our campus and in our community. Starting from her first year as a member of Club Gen, Samantha stepped up to advocate for the needs of women and girls in our community and for gender non-conforming people in our community. And her progress as an ethical leader developed tremendously over the many years that she spent at CSUB.
So out of all the work that I was, recognized for through the Wendy Wayne Ethics Award, I am most proud of the work I did on CSUB's campus with other students. I am a queer student. I'm a queer Latinx student who struggled throughout my time at CSUB with mental health and all these different things around me that impacted me personally, but I still showed up and did a lot of amazing work with other students who were going through similar things, and we came together and made amazing, impactful change.
Some of the policy implications that have lasted beyond the years that she was here are incredibly impressive. We now have on our campus Jay's Library, which is a safe space for transgender students, and also a resource library for them. Another thing that she did and helped work toward the now ability of students to use their preferred names and preferred pronouns on things like the list of students that a faculty member receives, so that the faculty member knows how that student identifies and knows the correct use of terms for that student. She's now an alumna, but nevertheless her mark is still here, even though she's moved on to become a graduate student at San Francisco State University.
Wherever we are in this community, people are doing amazing work that you can join in on. You don't have to start everything from scratch. There's legacies that we can build upon, there's different ways that we can get involved, and they're all contributing to a larger picture of like a better, safer, collective community that's really going to be transformative for everyone who's a part of it. So whether you're influenced by my work or other Wendy Wayne Ethics awardees, take that and feel that and be moved by it in a way that you want to act.
Next, we recognize Nicholas Lopez. Nicholas has been a Boy Scout since the age of 6, and in this role has organized Bakersfield Park improvement projects and serves as an astronomy guide and teacher for local youth. Nicholas is kind-hearted and a strong leader who is not afraid to step forward to make a positive impact in the lives of others. He showed these characteristics as a high school student and ally for students in the Gay Straight Alliance Club at Frontier High School. When students in this club were subjected to harassment by peers, Nicholas took initiative with student colleagues to speak at a Kern High School District Board of Trustees meeting. And he played a key role in the formation of an Equity and Inclusion Student Advisory Council. This council has played a key role in making Kern County high schools more inclusive spaces for all students. In this video, Nicholas discusses his vision for ethical leadership and the importance of believing in yourself and your community. As Nicholas notes, we are all capable of great things.
Being an ethical leader is not forgetting where you came from. I think so often we see people forget their roots and forget why they became a leader or why they stood up for something. And I think that's really important, because if they forget where they came from and what they stand for, then they're no different than the people that they were trying to replace. And I think that's a really important thing, that We need people who stay true to who they are, and what they say they believe in is what they're doing.
I nominated Nicholas because he is a kind-hearted person, and I noticed in his daily actions as well as his special projects that he's always thinking of others. I felt Nicholas was deserving of the award because at a young age he's been very brave and taken on challenges that do make a difference.
I would say for me, getting to know a lot of the people in Bakersfield, because I moved here in around 8th grade, has been one of the aspects that I really appreciate about the work that I've done, and that makes me really proud to get to be a part of this community and get to know a lot of the leaders within it. And so I would say that that's one of the aspects that I'm most proud of.
I think that the work that Nicholas has done has impacted the community in different ways. When Nicholas was a senior at Liberty High School, he participated on the Equity and Inclusion Student Advisory Council. And Nicholas and his friends, they help resolve issues as well as offer suggestions on how to make the environment a better place for all students.
I would say that so often we hear people say no matter who you are, you can do something or make a change, and I think that's true, but I also want to say is don't forget the people that helped you get there, because so often we always focus on one person who did this, but seldom is it that they did that alone. And so I think that remembering that it took a community to make a difference, or there's a lot of people who helped you get there, is really important. And I would just say to believe in yourself, whoever you are, whoever's listening to this, if there's something that you're doubting yourself in, you can do it. Believe in yourself. I know that's something I need to work on, but you're capable of great things.
Finally, we recognize Dee Slade, Director of the African American Network of Kern County, a business and professional organization which promotes higher learning by creating educational programs designed to empower the next generations to be strong leaders in business and community development. Dee also leads the Each One Teach One program that encourages youth to be good citizens and to strive for excellence in academics, self-respect, honor, diversity, citizenship, and ethics. As you will see, Dee is an inspiring leader and a continuing advocate for positive change in our community through numerous initiatives. Join me in listening to Dee's own words on her commitment to ethics and serving our Bakersfield youth and community.
Ethical behavior, professional standard, and conduct, that inspires you even on the job site, even in your religious congregation, your clubs, or even in volunteering. That conduct is the same. Give respect, respect will be given to you. My continued commitment is to give back until I just can't, and to encourage others to move forward regardless of whatever's going on in our society, and to be a participant in making things the standard it should be in our society.
Well, Dee is so deserving of this award. I had the pleasure of actually working for Wendy Wayne for about 7 years. So she was my direct supervisor, worked on a lot of projects with Wendy, and actually it was through Wendy that I met Dee Slade. And so when I thought of somebody that deserved the Wendy Wayne Award, and she immediately came to mind. She is somebody that epitomizes community service, that has a heart for kids, the same things Wendy had when she was a leader. And so that's really why I nominated Dee, was I think that she deserves that recognition for all of the great work she's done in the community.
I'm very proud of the work that I personally have been involved in since I've been here in Kern County in the city of Bakersfield. And it gives me great pleasure when you meet one of your former students or a resident that you produced a webinar or a class or something that they are inspired from the message that was in the presentation, and that somehow it helped them. And to see them return to the community and start giving back and participating in developing the future leaders, because the future leaders must be able to lead under the standards of ethical behavior and professional conduct.
She partners with education, with the school districts, and she just has a heart for kids. And now, this many years later, you see kids that went through her program that are now in leadership positions, not only in Kern County, but in throughout California and the United States. So it's amazing.
A couch potato never goes far. Somehow somebody will devour it. But if you're off that couch and you're out there promoting your community, promoting someone, inspiring someone, helping to mature those leaders that we so need, moving people into areas of need, whether it's medical, more nurses and doctors, and whether it's moving into more scientists, homemakers. Oh, I love desserts, so awesome bakers. So this is where I am. I'm promoting the next generation to take their rightful place, and that is leadership.
Thank you again to each of our awardees. Each of you is truly an inspiration. And again, thank you to our sponsors, supporters, and our primary event sponsors, Kaiser Permanente and Adventist Health Bakersfield. As someone who spends much of his time thinking about ethics and developing ethics programming of many kinds, it is both gratifying and inspiring to participate in this event and to be with you tonight. Each of our awardees demonstrates the import of and possibilities for ethics in our community in both ways, large and small. I appreciate all of you joining me tonight, and I encourage you to stay engaged with the Kegley Institute of Ethics by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and by joining us at one of our many free and open public events. Our team works hard to bring important speakers, events, and workshops to our community, and we'd like you to join us and to be part of the conversation. So with that, have a great night.